now in for the third game of this first three-game homestand here for the Clayton Clovers. So far, starting off to a 2-0 record, all in league play. Today they will be playing a league rival, but it will be an exhibition in the Reidsville Luckies. Will, what has stood out to you about the last two games?
Well, first, before I get into the Clovers, it's good to have you back,
I
John.
appreciate it. It's good to be back.
Now, the Clovers, what you've seen the last two games is, in the first game, you saw excellent hitting in that 14-4 win. And then in last night's game, we saw excellent pitching, 12 strikeouts combined for every Clover that saw the mound. So really getting it done in both ways, and they're getting hot at the right time, John.
Absolutely. Now just a half game behind the Kinston Wingmen for that last playoff spot. Really getting into crunch time here. We're in the 11th of July. The regular season ends for the Clovers on the 24th. Just 13 days away. Plenty to do and plenty to enjoy here in Old North State League content. So for your Clovers out in the field on the mound, it is going to be none other than Ryan Taman, one of the Taman twins. Ryan has had an excellent season so far, mainly serving as a relief pitcher, but has certainly been a reliable arm for the Clovers to turn to. Certainly excited to see him on the mound for today. And then across the infield, at first base, we see the return of Jackson Dunlap, Davey Morgan at second. We see JoJo Allen at third, and the debut of Will Orr over at shortstop.
Yes, the Clover staff has been really excited to see what he can do as a new addition for the team.
I think we're just as excited too. Good for Zach Zoltowski to have a day off. He certainly earned it after all the work he has put in. Then out in the field, starting in the left, we've got Zach Lyon, Jack Stark in center, and of course Cole Zach out in right field. Garrett Moffitt will be the extra hitter, and Mike Snyder the designated hitter for today. Be Gavin Fleming leading things off here for the Reidsville Luckies. Now the Clovers certainly finding the right time to get hot immediately following the All-Star break, but no one has been hotter right now than Mike Snyder. Was one of the only All-Stars for the Clovers, batted in an RBI, then immediately came home, hit a grand slam, and then hit a solo shot last night.
That's right. And he mentioned to the media at the All-Star game that the goal coming out was for the team, the Clovers, to win out the rest of the season.
An ambitious goal, but one that can be achievable for the Clovers. They certainly have been playing up to the level. It's all about just keeping it there for the remainder of the season. Gavin Fleming's going to draw the leadoff walk here for the Luckies.
Runner at first, no outs for the catcher from Columbus, Ohio. With Florence Darlington Pest.
It's going to be Christian Amaro.
Catcher number 20, Christian Amaro.
Donning number 20 here for the Luckies. Today being a bit of a battle of the luck.
The clash of the Clovers.
Clovers versus the Luckies. Luckies sporting a almost fake leprechaun suit as their jersey. Clovers donning the classic all-whites. Certainly one of my favorite uniforms for the Clovers. A very classic look. Only thing I think that could make it better, some like forest green pinstripes.
Oh, yeah.
Could really do the trick on those. Runner thinks about taking off, but comes back. Luke Bowen behind the plate. Runner is going to take off here, but that ball is hit high out into left field. Certainly foul and just out of play. JoJo Allen racing to make a play on it. But with the foul ball, Fleming heads back over to first, and now it's a 2-2 count for Christian Amaro. That one on the outside corner. Loads up the count now for the first time tonight. Luckies immediately jumping off to a very patient batting style. And they'll check over on first. Chorus of backs raining from the Luckies dugout. Runner will take off again. That one hit up high, foul, out of play. So runner, once again, will have to come back over to first. Quite the battle Romero and Taman are locked in right now.
We saw some of this yesterday from pitchers and batters. So it's just how it is in the Old North State League.
That one hit foul now towards the Clovers dugout. Certainly a lot of parity we've seen between the pitchers and batters. We've seen nights where the pitchers absolutely take over. We've seen nights where the batters absolutely take over. There's really no telling what kind of night it's going to be quite yet. Runner's going to take off once again. This one gets past the catcher. They're letting Bowen know where the ball is, but nobody takes off. So 2 straight walks now for Taman, and the Luckies start off with runners on first and second with no outs on the board.
Wesleyan University junior right fielder number 24, TJ Highsmith.
So now TJ Highsmith is going to jump over to the plate. Now one on the upper inside corner, ball 1. A warm Tuesday night here at East Clayton Community Park. Also Clayton Chamber of Commerce night. As that one's hit up out into left field. Lyon immediately underneath it. Makes the catch, good for out 1, throws back, keeps anybody from advancing. So runners on first and second. Clovers pick up their first out of the day.
That's important because you've got to get this defense going so that the Luckies can't get a good start with scoring.
We've seen Clovers start off slow sometimes from defense, and we've seen that getting that first out can often be so important. So they've got that, and sure enough, Ryan Taman dots up the strike zone just down the middle. Now on to Ron Rodriguez. Excellent baseball name. Runner's going to take off. That one's hit up high. Runner's coming back. Or makes the catch over in shortstop. Never made it past the infield, so runners still don't advance. Now 2 outs on the board for the Luckies.
For the third baseman from Roanoke, Virginia, by way of Avery University, junior number 17, Cole McLean. Correction, number 44, Jacob Trevette.
So 2 straight walks, then 2 straight pop flies. This one fouls back for strike 1 here.
And so far, this has been a really good recovery by the Clovers defense. 2 on base, but 2 straight outs right after that.
Certainly, if you're Taman here, sometimes it can be difficult after walking 2 straight to get your mind in the right spot and get them baiting into swinging. Even if they are making contact, getting those pop flies, sometimes that's just as important as getting those strikeouts. So credit to Taman for really bouncing back so far. Oh, and that one's going to bounce off the helmet of Trevette. He seems to be all right.
Just as we were praising him, John, I think that's definitely one for the commentator's curse.
I think you can definitely mark that one against us there.
That brings us now to third baseman. Number 17, Cole McLean.
So bases loaded now for the Luckies, but still 2 outs on the board. All you need is a standard out here, and you get away from that first inning unscathed. That one was some incredible bend. Good for strike 1. That one Gets past the catcher. 1 run will come home. Luke Bowen throwing himself after it. So a 1-1 count, but the Luckies do strike first. Gavin Fleming coming home.
Trevette and Amaro also advanced in that wild pitch.
That they did. So now 2 more runners in scoring position. Still 2 outs on the board here for Taman and the Clovers. And an even 1-1 count. Make that a 1-2 count. And now Cole McLean finds himself down in the count. And he'll pop that one up high, pretty far back. Keep it a 1-2 count. And that one on the inside. Roy Taman picks up his first strikeout of the day. A strikeout looking for Cole McLean. Clovers now up to bat, only down 1. Get out with pretty minimal damage despite having the bases loaded. Now their chance to strike back. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton, Clovers Baseball. Clovers now getting set to take to the plate for the first time today. Batting order here for the Clovers. It's going to be Garrett Moffitt leading things off as the extra hitter, followed by Davey Morgan, Mike Snyder, Cole Zach, Jackson Dunlap, JoJo Allen, Will Orr, Zach Lyon, Luke Bowen, and Jack Stark. Seen a few names returning to this lineup we haven't seen in a few days. Certainly a good opportunity as an exhibition to get a few of these players some extra playing time, especially as you approach the playoffs. You really want that roster depth to help you out.
Yes, and we've seen situations where someone performs well in the exhibition and gets added to the regular lineup. JoJo Allen had that excellent game in an exhibition where he went 4 for 4, and he's pretty much been a permanent part of the lineup ever since.
Well, when you've got such a talented roster like this with the Clovers, sometimes you really got to fight for some of those roster spots. And if you're hot, you're more likely to get that roster spot. So now Garrett Moffitt, the new transfer to University of Mount Olive, will lead things off here for the Clayton Clovers.
Tell him, do not cross that fence because
One of 3 players to hit a home run for the Clovers. Hit his away. Speaking of home runs, interesting to see Mike Snyder in the 3rd batter slot. Wondering if that has more to do with where he's comfortable rather than just slap in your most hot hitter into the cleanup position. Now a 2-0 count for Moffitt. Redshirted his freshman year at NC State. Playing a patient game, finds himself in a friendly count, 3-0. I have to say, well, the longer I look at these Luckies jerseys, the more I get thrown off.
They're so odd looking. They're not what you would think of as a typical baseball jersey.
Certainly not.
It contributes to the clash between these two teams, though. The traditional white and then the out-of-the-box style.
The very not traditional.
Yeah.
So Garrett Moffitt takes a huge swing and a miss. Now a full count. And he'll bloop that one. Left center field. It'll drop a lead-off single now for Garrett Moffitt. He's been so good in that lead-off position.
That's a leadoff single.
That was the area last night that the Clovers had great success in, hitting to that area between the center fielder and the left
Junior
fielder.
from
And you see it again, a leadoff single in that same area from Moffitt.
Certainly playing the defense to their weakest points is something an offense really wants to do. It can be difficult to kind of aim the ball as you're hitting it, but we'll see a lot of Clovers players aim for those gaps either between the third baseman and shortstop or between infielders and outfielders. So now Davey Morgan working up a 1-0 count so far. Takes a swing and that one pops it high towards the wall, but good for a catch. Out number one. Garrett Moffitt does not advance.
Yeah, he was too far down the line going toward second to tag up, so he couldn't advance.
That ball also is going deceptively far based on the hit. I think a lot of the players expected that to be a little more towards the infield. But now the All-Star, the Old North State League Player of the Week, and the Clayton Clovers Player of the Week. He's done it all so far. Mike Snyder. And immediately hits that one into left field. That'll drop. Garrett Moffitt advances to second, and it'll be another single for the Clovers. So one out on the board, but runners on first and second, both from hits, which is not something the Clovers are necessarily accustomed to seeing.
Boy, oh boy, John, is Mike Snyder the hot hand right now.
We've seen different players step up through the season to be the anchor of the Clovers offense. Have not seen many extend it over as many games as Mike Snyder has. So now Cole Zach gets strike one.
It almost makes me wonder if Mike Snyder had something happen to him at the All-Star game that just made him mad or something, because he came back and he's been playing with fury since then.
Well, if you've seen the pictures from the All-Star game, something I do want to point out is all of the players look very jubilous, look very happy, all cracking jokes, what have you. Mike Snyder was in the corner of that photo, crossed hands, straight face. I think he was there for business, and I think he's here to show the rest of the league what the Clovers are here for in their inaugural season of the Old North State League. Clovers have been floating around 500 for most of the season, largely due to the roster having some troubles meshing. But as they have continued to mesh together, the improvement has been remarkable throughout this season. Now they're gunning for that last playoff spot.
Only a half game back, right, from the Kingston win.
Only a half game back. Kingston Wingmen took a 8-2 loss to the Brunswick Surf and Turf. Surf and Turf's the clear #1 team coming out of the Eastern Division right now. As now the count is loaded up here for Cole Zach. And that'll be a drawn walk there by Cole Zach. Loads up the bases here for the Clovers. Only one out on the board, so the Clovers have the chance here to really unleash some offensive firepower.
Bases for the Clovers.
And now going to be Jackson Dunlap,
Right here in Clayton.
who's been a starter for what feels like since day one. Been here the whole season, been very consistent the whole season. Has clearly been a leader not only on the field but off the field as well. That one comes down the middle for strike one. Jonathan Senziza on the mound. Taking a lot of time now between pitches. Definitely trying to slow down this game after loading the bases. And that one gets low. A good block by the catcher keeps things contained for the Luckies. 1-1 count here for Dunlap. And that one hit the shortstop, dropped it. Garrett Moffitt comes home, ties up this ball game. Now 1-1 here in the bottom of the first. Bases still loaded, still just one out.
Well, if it's a battle of luck, the Clovers got lucky there.
Clovers certainly did. The E6 allows Moffitt to come home, allows everyone else to advance.
From Clarksville, Tennessee, your third baseman, he's an NC West League.
So now Mike Snyder over at third.
JoJo
Cole Zach at second, Jackson Dunlap at first. All very dangerous base runners. So if you're a Senziza right now, you definitely want to get things a little more contained. As that's popped up.
We know what JoJo Allen can do.
His signature game when he went 4 for 4 just a week and a half ago. And that one comes down the middle for strike two. Now an 0-2 count here for JoJo Allen. If you're the Luckies, a strikeout obviously being the best option here. Nobody has a risk of advancing. You keep things contained. You get that second out on the board. And that one down low, a very good attempted frame job there by the catcher. They do not go for a 1-2 count for JoJo. Now an even deuces here for JoJo Allen. They'll throw down to check on Mike Snyder. A little shoulder bump there. Snyder is safe, wondering if the players are trying to do anything they can to get to Snyder's head, get him less hot. Don't want to be the team to let Snyder hit the third straight home run on you, exhibition or not.
Well, so far, Snyder's rage has kept him laser focused.
It's kept the Clovers laser focused as JoJo Allen hits that. Another E6. 2 in a row now allows the Clovers to score again. They take the lead now at 2-1. 2 straight E6s. I wonder if we're going to see a meeting to the shortstop if that happens again.
Yeah, I hate to put blame on one player because it is a team sport, but so far, Melton, the shortstop for the Luckies, that's not going to get it done.
Certainly not 2 plays that could have been easy outs over at first, result in you losing the lead now. And Will Orr is going to hit that one up high towards left field. They've got a man under it. They'll make the grab. Jackson Dunlap comes racing home. Not Jackson Dunlap, Cole Zach, excuse me. So Cole Zach comes home, brings another run home. Clovers now leading 3-1 here in the bottom of the first. And Will, I have a feeling we know what kind of game it's going to be today.
Yes, good first at bat for Will Orr. Not a hit, but a sac fly contributing to the offense.
Sometimes the fun thing about some of these exhibition games is it can start to look like Mario Super Sluggers out there. As Zach Lyon hits that towards the third baseman, he's unable to make the grab. Now Jackson Dunlap rounds third and is racing home. It's going to be close at third. JoJo Allen is safe. Jackson Dunlap scores now a 4-1 lead for the Clovers. A double there by Zach Lyon. Everyone's out here having fun today. And we're still in the first inning. Luke Bowen now up next.
Well, the bats look hot. This is looking like the first game we had in this homestand.
Now batting from right here in Clayton, North Carolina, by way of Southeastern Union College, your catcher.
So now Luke Bowen, a Clayton native, one of quite a few on this Clayton Clovers roster that has made an impact on this team. Jackson Dunlap obviously being another big one. And that one on the inside, counted for strike 1. So the Clovers respond well after a slow start defensively. Only 1 run scored. They turn around, put up 4. A lot of these runs off of balls that could have had plays made off of them. But either the angle was just too hard or they just weren't focused. And it's interesting you point out Mike Snyder being so laser focused because I see that from the entire Clovers dugout right now.
Yeah, it's an exhibition, but they want to keep the momentum going. They don't want anything to stop this push to the playoffs.
Absolutely. Even though this one doesn't count towards league play, you definitely don't want to start a slump here in an exhibition. If your team is hot, you got to keep things rolling. And a half swing there. They'll count it as 1-2-2 count now for Luke Bowen. 2 outs on the board for the Clovers. 2 runners in scoring position at second and third. And that'll load up the count for Luke Bowen. JoJo Allen at third and Zach Lyon at second. And a big swing and a miss there will end the first inning here. Since Guys picks up his first strikeout of the day. 4 runs put up by the Clovers. They take a commanding start to this game. We are now going to the second inning. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball.
Powell.
So now we start back up on the second inning. Hudson Powell leading things off. Ryan Taman back in for his second inning of work.
Another ball there, 2-0 count.
But nah, it's gonna be for Samai and Talia. It's a lot of new people. But I know Samai. I've been knowing Samai for.
And that one hit out into the gap between center field and the shortstop.
Leadoff
A
single from
leadoff single for Hudson
Powell.
Powell.
At first, no outs.
Now, well, there's an
Shortstop.
interesting poll out on Twitter right now asking if the fans at home want to hear us perform the seventh inning stretch. So if you are tuning into this game, make sure you go to the Clayton Clovers Twitter page at Clayton Clovers. Let us know if you want to hear us sing. 0-1 count now.
I haven't sung for people since high school.
I don't remember the last time I've sung for people. I think we can put on a show, though.
The Clothes Show?
The Clove Show, indeed. Now a 1-1 count here for Sam Melton.
Yeah, we go way back. Way back. Because I know one time we go to a baseball tournament.
So a 1-2 count here for Sam Melton.
A little bit of confusion there from the Luckies on that last call.
Now one on the lower outside corner, 2-2 count now. And that one, they're going to say it hit him on the arm. So he'll get a walk. Two straight runners make it onto base now for the Clovers.
For the left fielder from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Braden Davidson delivering the balls to the ump.
Junior left fielder number
Taking
5.
a day off today.
James.
Has put in a very solid and strong-willed effort ever since he's gotten here. And that ball,
I think it fouled.
I think it did. So I believe that would be an 0-1 count. If they count that as a foul.
A foul? Bunt, trying to bunt. It hits yourself.
It can be a confusing time. Especially when it all happens so fast. Huge swing and miss there. Now the batter's going to step back in, recollect himself. 0-2 count here. Strikeout would certainly go against some of the Luckies. Momentum they've been building, and that one's low. Luke Bowen has a chance to throw down to third. It will not be in time. Runner advances from second to third, so now runners on the corners for the Luckies. No outs. 1-2 count. And a huge swing and miss there. Ryan Taman picks up his second strikeout of the day. Big first out there, especially with the runner in scoring position at third.
Number 1, we had that at the top of the order now. Second baseman number 7, Gavin Fleming.
So now Gavin Fleming has an opportunity. He drew a walk at his first time around, has a runner in scoring position. And that one popped up far back. Jack Stark makes the catch in center field. The throw will not be in time. Luckies do put up another run. Now 2 outs on the board.
Route number 2, running scores. To the plate.
So a runner
Catcher,
now
number 20,
just on first.
Christian.
A sack fly for Fleming.
Both teams now have one.
Jay said
That they do. And Christian Amaro, who also drew a walk his first time around, has an opportunity to keep this inning alive for the Luckies.
Huge leadoff for Melton there.
Interesting he didn't take off on it, but Luke Bowen has been showing how alert he is today. Definitely don't want to get caught, even just a foot early. Another huge leadoff. That one hit right towards Davey Morgan. He delivers it to Dunlap. That will wrap up the inning. Luckies put up one, but the Clovers still lead by 2. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. So now Jack Stark, the only batter who did not get to go around in the first inning, will lead things off for the Clovers. He immediately shows for bunt, makes contact, it drifts just foul. He'll make his way back.
It would have worked if it just stayed fair. Because they were not ready for it at all. We weren't ready for it. That totally caught me off guard.
Certainly did catch everyone off guard. And that one just upstairs. 1-1 count now.
So there's a bit of a shift in now from the third baseman after started off with that bunt that fouled off.
But now he's opened up a gap between the third baseman and the shortstop. Good frame job there by the catcher. They'll buy it. 1-2.
Now he's backed off. Third baseman, that is.
Well, you certainly don't see too many bunts on that second strike. After all, a bunt attempt gone foul does count towards a strikeout. We've seen that once already at East Clayton Community Park. Every day here is certainly a bit of an adventure. I feel like there's always something that is at least a little bit out of the ordinary. So now a full count for Jack Stark on this muggy day here in Clayton. And they'll call that for strike 3 looking Jack Stark. goes down, and it's 2 straight strikeouts now for Senzeza. But now back to the top of the order where they'll try and break that streak.
Your extra hitter. Number 1, Garrett Moffitt.
So Garrett Moffitt, who led off the game with a single. And that one down low. What a count. Now, a bit of interesting news on the MLB draft front. Former Clemson quarterback turned Oregon State quarterback drafted.
Yeah, that's odd. Not sure what the thought process is behind that one. But someone obviously saw something that I didn't.
Quarterbacks do tend to make pretty good baseball players. And that hit straight back. 1-2 count now for Garrett Moffitt. What especially stood out to me was I don't believe DJ ever played an inning of baseball for Clemson, which I might be wrong about. I am not the closest follower of Clemson sports.
As far as I know, he didn't. I had a conversation about it with the baseball experts here, our owners, and they said he hadn't.
Now a 2-2 count for Moffitt. Sometimes those high school days and knowing that you're still an elite athlete can make a huge impact on something like that. Something tells me he'll be playing for Oregon State football next year, though. Keep it at a 2-2 count here for Garrett Moffitt.
I would say that the Beavers are definitely one of the dark horses for the Pac-12 title with Cuyago.
I think it'll be an interesting season overall, and not just college football, but almost any college athletics. We're seeing a lot of changing atmospheres in each of the sports, changing powers.
You just have to hope that the championship games this coming year are more interesting than the past year. They were all duds in the major sports.
Well, the baseball one was interesting with all blowouts except for the first game.
Right.
So even though they played the maximum games, it's not like many of them were exactly nail biters. That one outside loads up the count. This Garrett Moffitt at bat has been a battle.
I'm in wedding picture land. I can't stop. Like, yeah.
And that one hit up high, out towards left field. People racing after it. It's going to drop, though. Garrett Moffitt now coming to second. He'll stop there. A stand-up, one-out double for Moffitt. And he'll hit the classic Clovers celebration of the crane pose. Wonder how that came about as the signature for the Clovers team. So now Davey Morgan gets a second chance. Popped up in his first at-bat. He's someone that's very dangerous on the base paths. He's very agile, very fast. If he gets just a second head start on you, he can beat you just about anywhere. So I think the Luckies strategy here, keep him off the base paths at all costs necessary.
He's got that red base stealing glove, real bright so the umpire can see it.
It's all about the little things.
Yeah.
Sometimes the smallest thing can give you a huge advantage in a game as mental and as unexpected as baseball. But now Morgan finds himself in an 0-2 count. That one also hit foul. Davey Morgan still in this thing. Keeping the at-bat alive, he's got Moffitt in scoring position at second.
And Davey Morgan's usually one to take the first pitch and just see what it is. But here he's been swinging at everything.
They've all been pitches he likes just enough. He's made contact with every single one of them. Does not swing at that one. Just a bit high in the corner. 1-2 count. Very good eyes by Morgan not to swing at that one. Definitely a strong baiter pitch. That one up high now, and even deuces for Davey Morgan. He's taken the patience to battle back. Oh, and that one foul tip makes contact with the up. He'll take a few steps to walk it off.
Hit him in the arm, I think.
That can be a tough spot to take a shot at.
One of the few spots on the umpire's body that is not really protected by equipment. Their shoulders are, but this hit him farther down the upper arm. There's probably going to be a bruise there tomorrow for him.
Baseball at that velocity will hurt even with pads. Seems to be all right, though. They use it as a chance of delivery for more balls, so we know he is certainly feeling much better. Good to see him step back behind home plate. Luckies used it as a chance to kind of regroup defensively a bit. So a 2-2 count here for Davey Morgan. He's got Garrett Moffitt out at second. Mike Snyder on deck. And a huge swing and a miss there by Davey Morgan. Third strikeout of the day by Jonathan Senzeza. Safe to say he started to wake up a bit after letting those first 4 runs go.
Right, but he's not out of it yet because he has to face Mike Snyder now.
Snyder, who also had a single his first time around. Good hit, brings home Garrett Moffitt, extends this Clovers lead. That one on the inside towards him. 1-0 count here early for Mike Snyder. He's smiling it off, though.
You know, when I hear Mike Snyder's walk-up song now, I start to have that little kernel of fear because I don't know how hard Mike Snyder's going to hit the ball.
It's one of the walk-up songs that night in and night out, find myself humming it in the car ride home. Very good walk-up song. Gets me hyped up.
It reminds me of the feeling that I get when I hear the Undertaker's theme.
What was fun to watch was, even though before 2 nights ago Mike Snyder had not hit a home run yet this season, these pitchers were still so afraid to pitch against him. He was still a very efficient hitter, and almost every time he hit it, there was almost that question of, is that going over the wall? Nobody wanted to be the first to let Mike Snyder get his home run. Now he's got 2 in 2 days. But a big swing and a miss there. 2 straight strikeouts, 4 on the day for Senseiza. The Luckies pitching staff on fire now. That wraps up the second inning. We're going to the third. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers Baseball.
Clovers lead 4-2.
So the Clovers turn to new help now coming into the third inning. Ryan Taman, who had himself 2 strikeouts, let 2 runs go. It's now Elijah Pittman on the mound. And that one hit out towards left field. That one is deep over the fence, but it's foul. And out of nowhere, 2 people racing up to grab that ball. I wonder if ever since Mike Snyder's 2 home runs, there's been a group of kids out there wanting to grab his third. So good for an 0-1 count here for TJ Highsmith. Certainly had some power on that first hit. So a 1-1 count here. Make it 2-1 for the leadoff batter here. That one just down in the dirt. Batter finds himself in a friendly count here. Pittman steps off the mound for just a minute. And that'll be a lead-off walk for TJ Highsmith. So not the start you necessarily want to see, but sometimes it takes that first batter to kind of get into the groove if you're a relief pitcher. Certainly seems like it'll be more of a bullpen day for the Clovers unless one really heats up. And Pittman finds the strike zone there. So an 0-1 count for Ron Rodriguez. They'll look over at him. And that one chopped back. 0-2 count now. And now the exact opposite position. Ron Rodriguez is now down in the count. And that one's going to hit him. So Ron Rodriguez draws the hit by pitch. An unfortunate hit by pitch was ahead in the count, 0-2. But now runners on first and second. No outs here for the Clovers defense.
That's just not what you need to do right now. You're giving the Luckies way too much for free.
Number 44, Jacob.
So now Jacob Trevette, who took a hit by pitch. 3 hit by pitches so far this game by the Clovers pitching staff. And that one foul tip. Good for strike 1. I think if you're Pittman, you just got to take a deep breath and remember you can get these people swinging at just about anything you got. Just got to keep it a little bit under control. Luke Bone with the good awareness there. 1-1 count. Has certainly been an interesting game so far for the Battle of the Luckies. That one fouled back. 1-2 count. Also important to point out, the Luckies batters have only recorded 1 hit so far today. Everything else has been off of free passes and wild pitches. It was Hudson Powell, the center fielder. And that one fouled back, and this battle has commenced 2-2 now. Still no outs on the board. Runners at first and second for the Luckies and TJ Highsmith and Ron Rodriguez. That one foul tipped. You know, getting a close-up look at those jerseys, still the same feelings, I think.
They're very odd.
We'll say they are slowly growing on me.
No.
No, you don't think so? That one inside, full count now.
I'll tell you what my biggest problem is with them. They have bow ties at the top. A lot of players like to unbutton those top few buttons, so it ruins the effect.
So how would you have felt if, instead of the bow tie, as Jacob Trevette draws the walk, loads the bases now, Landry Moore will come out. What if instead of the bow tie, it was unbuttoned at the top, so that regardless of whether or not the top button was actually buttoned, it looked like it was unbuttoned? Would you feel stronger about that?
So it didn't have the tie at all?
Didn't have the tie at all, but it's a image.
And it's a good time to get
It's the image of it being unbuttoned. So regardless of whether or not it's unbuttoned, in real life, the same effect is still present.
I think that's worse.
You think that's worse? Okay.
Honestly.
It's
It's also weird to have a suit style jersey, but then no tie or the unbuttoned effect. But anyway, Pittman, his day is done. So it looks like Shea DeFalco will come out.
It does look like Shea DeFalco indeed, so we'll give him a chance to warm up here. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. So Shea DeFalco on the mound finds himself in a jam. Bases loaded, no outs on the board, and he'll go against Cole McLean. Struck out looking at his first at-bat. Clovers looking for a repeat of that. Now start off strong with a strike one. Now, not to bring up the old conversation, but back to these jerseys. My argument now, as that comes in for strike two, suits have started to become very popular without any sort of tie. So would just not having the tie be a more suitable option than either of the two that have already previously been brought up? And a huge swing and a miss there. Foul tip into the glove. Good for strike three. Cole McLean, 2 strikeouts. And Shea DeFalco slowly putting the
Just
Clovers
the center
back into a
fielder now,
position
number
for a
11,
possible
Hudson
Houdini
Powell.
exit.
Yeah, if it looked like a normal dress shirt underneath where it could be buttoned or unbuttoned, I think that would be fine.
Well, you heard it here first. We know what Will Dobson's preference is. 0-1 count now for Hudson Powell, the lone Lucky to have a hit so far. Yeah, that one fouled back.
I think I'm just bitter because they're wearing gray pants, and in my mind, they should be wearing gray jerseys as well for that classic baseball look.
I see where you're getting at. And that one hit out towards right field. They'll make the catch. Runner will tag up. It will be in time. 3-4 game here.
Powell.
So 2 outs on the board now. Only 1 run through. Runners on first and second for Shea DeFalco.
For the shortstop.
If he can get off with just that 1 run, I'd say that's a success for the pitcher coming in a position like that.
Certainly, and we've seen him get 2 strikeouts, is that right, already?
Just 1 so far.
Oh, just 1, sorry.
1 and then the sac fly.
Oh, that's right.
But 2 straight outs nonetheless. As that'll come inside for ball 1. And with no outs, it's so hard to keep that runner from third from not advancing no matter what you do. Pretty much have to have an infield pop fly or a strikeout. And that one inside. Bowen loses it for a second, but manages to find it before anybody advances. 2-0 count here.
It's also really hard for a pitcher that hasn't been in the game at all. Ask him to come in and save you from bases loaded with no outs.
But I think on the short list of names that you would call on for that, Shea DeFalco be very close to the top, if not the top. And that one hit towards Davey Morgan. Morgan will tag, force the second at out.
Number 3.
So out number 3. Clovers still lead by 1 despite finding themselves in a jam. Think we can put that in the books as one of the Clovers Houdini acts. So we head now to the bottom of the third. Clovers have a chance to pad on this lead. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton, Clovers Baseball. So now Cole Zach steps up to the plate. Donning number 16 drew a walk in his first at-bat. Another classic walk-up song here for the Clovers. Will, you learned something pretty interesting about walk-up songs.
Yes, the tradition started in 1970 by the Chicago White Sox, where the organist would play the state songs of the White Sox players as they came up to bat.
It's very interesting. I'm curious back then what these state songs were for each of the states and how recognizable they were. As Kolzak is going to hit that one high and foul towards the bullpen. And now there is being a protest here because the bullpen tried to make a play on it while the right fielder was out there trying to make a play on it. So now the umps will come to discuss whether or not that qualifies as interference.
Interference, yeah. And I think they have a point, actually, because, there are people down there that were in the way. Because everyone kind of sits just all around.
And he will be out. Kolzak.
I know it's a call against the Clovers, but I think that is the right call. The bullpen is in a spot that doesn't allow for the outfielder to make an easy play. It does interfere with him.
Number 32, Jackson Dunlap.
So now Jackson Dunlap has a chance. Leadoff runner out. So nobody on base is one out on the board. And that comes in for strike one. That one's down low, making a 1-1 count now.
And of course, since that happened, almost the entire bullpen has gone to sit on the bench up against the fence so that they will not be in any sort of interfering position.
And that one hit towards the third baseman. He'll slide to make the play. Throws over, so 2 up, 2 down for the Clovers. A great play there by the third baseman. The infield starting to come together a bit here for the Luckies after multiple errors through the first few innings.
Your third baseman, number 24, JoJo Allen.
So now JoJo Allen steps up to the plate. Back to the walk-up songs. I'm curious when it went from state songs to the player's favorite song.
Well, I'm sure someone at some point just put in a request. And, of course, they're going to oblige because...
That one bloop towards the shortstop. He'll make the play. It's going to be close. They'll call him safe. They try to make the tag rather than tag the base. Unable to do so, JoJo Allen reaches.
As I was saying, I'm sure the organization would oblige because it's their player. They want to make him happy, make him feel comfortable when he comes to bat.
One of the greatest traditions, I think, and that's going to do it for Jonathan Sanzese's day. Despite his first inning, puts up a stellar next few innings. 4 strikeouts on the day, just 1 walk. Overall, a pretty good day there for Jonathan Sanzese. So we'll get you the name and number of the new pitcher when we come back after this short break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. So now Will Orr comes in. The new pitcher, number 8, Colin Eaton, brought in here after JoJo Allen reaches first. Certainly more of a preliminary measure than a reactionary one. Wonder if Sanzeza was on a strict pitch limit for the day as JoJo Allen takes off. Third baseman's got it. He'll drop it off to first. They'll get the out to wrap up the inning. So just like that, we're going back to break into the top of the 4th now. Clovers lead by 1. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball.
One left on.
Into the top of the 4th of a slow but interesting game so far. Took us an hour and 17 minutes to get through 3 full innings. Those innings have been jam-packed, though, with hit by pitches, tons of walks, tons of runs already.
Some sac flies.
We've seen it all here so far. We're just now into the top of the 4th. Shea DeFalco in for the 2nd inning of work for him. And he's in there for strike 1. It's Justin Steens for the Luckies. He takes another swing, strike 2. He also struck out at his first at-bat. So Shea DeFalco clearly recognizing some patterns here and taking full advantage of it where he can. And then that one down low brings up to a 1-2 count now. And that is good for strike 3. I believe that was strike 3 looking on the half swing nonetheless in the strike zone. And Shea DeFalco picks up his 2nd K of the day. So now back to the top of the order in Gavin Fleming.
Top of the order, second baseman, number 7, Gavin Fleming.
Definitely a great start there by the Clovers pitching staff after how last inning went. A wonderful difference to see. So in case you're just joining us, we've got a bit of a poll on the Twitter right now, the Clayton Clovers Twitter, of do you want to hear me and Will sing the 7th inning stretch for you all today? So far, 17 votes in, 76% of them saying yes, other 24% saying no. I have to say, I do not blame those who voted no. I don't know if I would have voted yes on this poll, but credit to those who think that we can entertain.
I would have voted yes simply to hear John sing.
I would have voted yes simply to hear you sing. So that can go both ways. Now a 2-1 count here for Gavin Fleming. only 12 minutes left to vote on that poll. It was originally set for just an hour, but the game slowed down a bit after we posted that poll. So if you want to have a say in whether or not we sing, make sure you go at Clayton Clovers on Twitter. Go ahead and vote. You've got just 12 minutes to do so. And another big swing and a miss there loads up the count here. Gavin Fleming now at 3-2. And Shea DeFalco battling back. That one in the dirt. A good eye there by Fleming. He'll draw the 1-out walk. It's going to be Christian Amaro up next.
To the plate for catcher. Number 20, Christian Amaro.
I know the Clovers' bad innings so far have been plagued by walks. Wouldn't put too much weight into that walk just yet.
No, but you're right. It has been a story so far. The Clovers really just beating themselves.
Now, I will say for us singing, we've got the benefit of the music behind us. We start out on the same pitch. We'll be hopefully in tune with something to listen to.
We'll try to be as tolerable as possible.
I think that's a good goal to set. Very realistic.
Lend me your ear and I'll sing you a tune, folks. As I get jump scared by the foul ball.
That one coming right back at our faces. Once again, we will thank this wonderful chain link fence for saving our skins more than once this season.
I think it damaged the chain link fence, John.
Well, if that damaged the chain link fence, really thank goodness for that chain link fence. 2-2 count now for Christian Amaro. Runner's going to take off as that one's hit. Shortstop's got it. Will Orr delivers to Jackson Dunlap. Good for out 2. Runner does advance over to second. Now in scoring position.
So credit to Fleming there, because if he hadn't taken off, there was a serious chance of a double play there.
Certainly good base running recognition by Fleming. Fleming able to make it, keep this inning alive, and puts the tying run in scoring position here for the Luckies. And that one is hit up high. Zach Lyon underneath it. He'll make the grab. That'll wrap up the inning. So a 4-batter inning here for the Clovers defense. And we're going to the bottom of the 4th now. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. So now back to the Clovers. Despite having a 4-3 lead, they are still not through the order for the second time, whereas the Luckies almost halfway through their order for the third time. So definitely a at-bat disparity, but not a hits and runs disparity here for the Clovers. And that first pitch is wild. Nobody on bases to take advantage of it. Colin Eaton back on the mound. And that one a bit upstairs. That one outside. 3-0 count here for Zach Lyon. And that one outside. Lyon advances for the second time today. So a leadoff walk, certainly a welcome sight here for the Clovers offense. Getting that runner on first can sometimes be huge right off the bat. So now it's going to be the catcher, Luke Bowen, up next. Now, during the break, we found multiple fragments of the chain link fence
on our table.
On the table. So the fence making a sacrifice here for us today. That comes in for strike one. I have to say that foul ball, I feel like it certainly caught me off guard, so I may be biased in this. I feel like it had a lot more heat than a typical foul ball when it comes at the fence.
Definitely, John.
And that's in for strike two. Luke Bowen finds himself down 0-2 now. Colin Eaton looking for his first strikeout of the day. He won't get it quite yet. That one down in the dirt, 1-2. And that one hit just foul down the third base line. Keep the count at 1-2. Luke Bowen starting the battle here. That one also hit foul. Luke Bowen not going down without a fight here. Still a 1-2 count here for the second batter of the inning. Just noticed he's a no-glove hitter. Also has the Clayton bat for today.
He gets that grip help from the dirt.
And that will be a strikeout looking for Luke Bowen.
Very frustrated with himself, Bowen is.
Now Jack Stark up to bat. He also struck out looking his last time up. Looking to turn that fortune around with Zach Lyon out there at first base. That one hit up out towards center field. Left center field, they'll make the catch. Good for out number 2 now. And Zach Lyon still over there on first, does not advance. And now back to Garrett Moffitt. 2 for 2 so far in the day, a single and a double.
Looking for that triple.
And that one down low in the dirt, ball 1. Lions now starting to get a little more antsy on first, looking to steal, get things interesting for him on the bases.
Get the defense uncomfortable.
And that one hit towards the second baseman. They'll throw down to first. Not quite in time for Garrett Moffitt. So that's good for out number 3. And we go to the top of the 5th. Clovers, Strand, Zach Lyon on first, still hold the lead 4-3. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton, Clovers Baseball. Clovers turn to new help on the mound once again. Truly is a bullpen game. Clovers showing off their depth. Whit Branham takes the mound. And first, a hit towards the shortstop. Will Orr makes the throw in time. What a play there. JoJo Allen dove for it. Will Orr was able to get it just underneath him. Excellent plays, excellent awareness by everybody involved.
Way to get ahead by both JoJo Allen on the attempt and then Will Orr on
Now
the
batting
actual
the designated
delivery.
hitter number 44, Jacob. Correct.
Love to see it from both of them.
Especially on a first pitch like that. What better way to give your pitcher confidence that he can rely on you? Now 1 out on 1 pitch for Whit Branham, and that one's going to be hit right down the middle. That'll be good for a single for Jacob Trivet.
1 out single from Trevette. Brings up the third baseman now, number 17, Cole McLean.
So 1 out, 1 runner on first. Only 2 pitches for Whit Branham. And that one's outside, gets past him. Runner's going to take off for a second. They'll get there successfully. So now a runner in scoring position in Jacob Trivet. 1 ball, 1 strike. Or 1 out, excuse me. 1 ball, no strikes. And a good swing and a miss there. Now make it 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 runner on second. Ladies and gentlemen, the poll has wrapped up. Will, I got news for you. We got a performance coming up in just a short few innings here.
Oh, I'm going to have to warm up my singing voice.
That's what the commercial breaks are for. Poll absolutely crushed. 72% said yes.
John, we don't have commercials.
Well, the breaks. So, a 1-2 count here for Hale McLean. And that one is in for strike 3. Looking, Whit Branham racks up his first strikeout of the day. 5 total strikeouts for the Clovers staff so far today.
Brings to the plate the center fielder, number 11, Hudson. Powell.
It being a 4-3 game, Clovers putting some absolute heaters on the mound so far. So 2 outs now for Whit Branham. Hudson Powell is up next. Ooh, he's 0 for 1 on the day, has an RBI, has a chance for another here with Jacob Trevette in scoring position. And that one hit towards Will Orr. He's got the chance to close this inning out, and he will do it. So a quick inning there for the Clovers defense. They're back up to bat. Now down to the bottom of the 5th. Still a 4-3 lead for the home side. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball. So Colin Eaton back out on the mound now for the Luckies. Davey Morgan leading things off here for the Clovers. Clovers defense has certainly picked up and become a lot more efficient after those first 2 innings. But so has the Luckies defense. The offense definitely slowed down.
Right, and 1-run lead is certainly not comfortable at all. Saw a 1-run lead for the majority of the game last night after Mike Snyder's home run. But then, the Clovers got an extra run, which turned out to be the winning run. So every run is important.
And Davey Morgan out by just a hair there, really showing off the speed he had. I thought he might have been able to get there in time.
It was very close.
So now 1 out on the board, and Mike Snyder is up to bat.
Number 5, Mike Snyder.
So foul tip on the first go for Mike Snyder makes it strike 1. 1-1 count now. So a 1-2 count for Mike Snyder. Colin Eaton seems prepared for either the patience game or the swinging game by the Clovers. He's not letting either get to him. Now that one does get past the catcher. Nobody on base to take advantage of it. Even count at deuces.
Big Mike is one of the more eager batters. Oh, he swings there. Drop strike 3, but he is out.
Don't see too many drop strike 3s here at East Clayton Community Park. A few within the last few games. Now 2 outs on the board. And Cole Zach is up with nobody on bases. That one down in the dirt. 1-0 count here. Three-0 count here for Cole Zach. Very friendly. And Cole Zach now looking to get on base. And they'll call that a strike on the outside. 3-1 count now. Cole Zach thought he had it. 2-out offense has been a big part of the Clovers thus far. And Cole Zach's going to hit that right towards the second baseman. An unfortunate bounce for Cole. 1-2-3 inning for the Clovers here, and we are now into the top of the 6th. Still a 4-3 game. Clovers lead runs a commodity. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Whit Branham taking the mound for his second inning of work here. Dealt a very efficient 5th inning. And that's in for strike 1. So Blake Freeman now pinch hitting. He's got a even 1-1 count here to start off. And that makes it good for a 1-2 count now. And a huge strike three there. Whit Branham's got 2 strikeouts on the night.
Branham is second K of the night.
So 1 out on the board. Clovers defense has seen a drastic change here from the top of the game to the bottom of the game.
Now batting number 5, Justin Steen.
So Justin Steam's now in. Blake Freeman, who was pinch hitting for Sam Melton. Now back to the regular batting order, 1-1 count. That one fouled back, 1-2 count here for Whit Branham. It's been fun throughout the season getting to know the bullpen pitchers and some of their senses of humor. Whit Branham, we had a ton of fun interviewing, asking a few questions such as, who do you want to be stranded on a desert island with? And he'll pick up the second strikeout in a row. Whit Branham absolutely on fire.
They're a fun bunch, John.
They certainly are a fun bunch, and it's always so much fun to see them do so
Okay,
well
that's
on the mound and to see their spirits
out
get
number 2.
raised about that. Love doing post-game interviews with the
The
pitchers.
order now number 7, Gavin Fleming.
Oh, more random fireworks.
Unfortunately, you can't see them on the camera, so I don't think they'll stop the game. But we do indeed have another out-of-nowhere fireworks show here at East Clayton Community Park. So add it to the bingo card once again.
Now, why would someone be shooting off fireworks on July 11th?
Perhaps they found a hidden stash of fireworks they forgot to set off a week ago.
If it was 3 days later, maybe they're celebrating Bastille Day.
It's always possible. Always possible. So a 1-1 count here. Whit Branham's racked up 2 strikeouts so far. And Gavin Fleming is going to call time. 7 total strikeouts on the day for the Clovers pitching staff. Two, 1 count now. And that is another strikeout. Oh, no, never mind.
2-2 count.
2-2 count. I got excited there. Whit Branham's just really got me going. What can I say?
He's good.
2 strikeouts so far. 2-2 count. He'll hit that one down the first base line. Jackson Dunlap. I was afraid the broadcaster's curse would get me too good there. I'm okay with that. So 1-2-3 inning here for the Clovers defense. We're flying to the bottom of the 6th now. Still a 4-3 game here in the Battle of the Lux. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. Now into the bottom of the 6th inning. Clovers still leading 4-3. Now has a chance once again to try and wake the offense up once again. They were very hot in the beginning. Started to slow down a bit. We've seen this quite a bit with the Clovers. They tend to like it when their backs are against the wall.
Yes, it's a team that loves to face adversity. Usually responds well. Strike there. 0-1 count.
Now an even 1-1 count here for the hometown kid, Jackson Dunlap. Dunlap, who is now hit towards the first baseman. Colin Eaton races over to first, makes the play. Good for out number 1. Excellent defensive awareness there by the pitcher. He was ahead of it.
Your third baseman.
So now JoJo Allen, who is 1 for 1 on the day, also reached on an E6. JoJo has at times been a massive anchor for this Clovers offense. He takes a big swing and a miss there. Stumbles out of the box. And that one gets past. Nobody on base to take advantage of the 1-1 count here. 1 out for number 2-4. Starting to cool down finally after a very muggy afternoon and evening, as that's in for strike 2.
Certainly a summer in North Carolina.
Certainly is. Started off almost a little colder than expected back in May as we moved into early June, but then the heat caught up to us. And foul ball there, almost tipped into the glove, but he lost it at the last second. Count remains at 1-2. A lucky break there for JoJo Allen.
Extremely. I thought that was strike 3.
And they're going to call that strike 3. So another strikeout here for Colin.
Coming to the plate, your shortstop.
He's got 3 total, one of them being a drop strikeout. This has really somehow turned into an absolute pitcher's duel after being anything but through the first 3 innings.
It certainly has. The game's really just slowed down. Defenses have settled in. They're playing well. Not seeing that many mistakes, and when there are with wild pitches, no one's on base because of this lights-out pitching.
So the Clovers with a 1-run advantage right now. It's going to be whatever pitcher starts to slow down first, really. Now, Clovers obviously with that advantage. As long as their pitchers never slow down, they've got it locked down, but you can't necessarily rely on that, especially in such a bullpen game. That's in for strike 1, 2-1 count. Now some protests from the Clayton dugout.
Even Landry Moore complaining from his third base coach.
That's in for strike 2. Now Will Orr, who finds himself ahead in the count 2-0, finds it a tie count 2-2. He'll take a swing at that one. Fouled back towards the fence. Count remains at 2-2. 2 outs on the board here. Definitely into a battle. Now, I think it's important we reiterate, just because there's 2 outs, you've seen a lot of Clovers offense on 2-out situations before. That one down low loads up the count 3-2. Now, Clovers do tend to like it when they are down in the count to get that 2-out offense running. Oh, and that one's going to hit him on the shoulder. Bounces off the catcher. A bit of pinball there, but Will Orr reaches first on the hit by pitch. So now the Clovers working with a runner at first, and Zach Lyon is going to step up, who's reached twice so far today. had himself a double his first time around and then drew a walk.
Number 7, Zach Ryan.
Certainly a very, very patient batter for the Clovers. Takes the first one, lower end of the strike zone, good for strike one. Big swing and a miss for strike two from Lyon. Even for an exhibition, very tight and intense atmosphere here at East Clayton Community Park. Everyone holding their breath between each pitch. That one down low. Runner takes off. Will Orr is going to reach second. So 2 strikes on the board, now a ball. So 1-2 count. A runner in scoring position at second could change things for this Clovers offense.
Right, one good swing of the bat, and the lead is extended. And already runs so hard to come by both teams at this point.
Run certainly turned into a commodity after free flowing. That's going to get past, and now Will Orr advances all the way to third. So he went from first to third in just 2 pitches. Now it's a 2-2 count. Certainly the dynamic of this at-bat has changed a lot. Lyon, who has battled back from an 0-2 count, got his runner all the way just 90 feet away from extending the lead. That one down low loads up the count now for Zach. He takes a minute to recuperate. Certainly could be a massive moment in the game. And a big swing and a miss there. We'll wrap up the bottom of the 6th. Zach Ryan goes down swinging. Clovers do strand a Will Orr over at third. They retain the lead right now, though. Still 4-3. We're going to the top of the 7th inning. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Clayton Clovers Baseball.
Score remains.
With Branham leading off the Clovers defense here. His 3rd inning of work. Branham's already racked up 3 strikeouts in his 2 previous innings so far. Only 1 hit given. Has been on fire for this Clovers defense, and he'll start it off again with a strike. It's Christian Amora leading things off here for the Luckies. The catcher is going to hit one out towards center field. Catch is made, though. Jack Stark out there in center field gets out number 1.
We're out number 1.
And Whit Branham has
Now
had
batting the right fielder,
such a
number
balance
24,
between strikeouts
TJ.
and relying on his field.
And he has every confidence in his defense behind him. They've shown him nothing but the best ability that they have to get those outs.
And that one inside for ball 1. The MLB All-Star Game also happening right now. That one takes a high bounce. Will Orr's got it. He'll make the throw. Oh, and it will not be caught. It was already
Over the
a
first.
very difficult play to make.
Number 2. Safe at first.
Difficult play to make with just how high that ball bounced up. Orr had his best throw at it, but nonetheless, TJ Highsmith reaches.
Now batting the first baseman, number 31, Ron Rodriguez.
So Ron Rodriguez is now working with a runner on first. Just one out on the board. He'll take strike 1 right down the middle. Rodriguez has pop flied twice so far and had a hit by pitch. And that one hit over. Will Orr, unable to make the play, tries to flip it over to second. So now 2 straight runners will reach here for the Luckies. Runners on first and second, just one out, and it's now up to Jacob Trevette to keep things rolling here for the
Now
Luckies
batting
offense.
designated hitter, number 44, Jacob Trevette.
Still very easy for the Clovers to get out of this inning unscathed. Just got to tighten up the loose bands around the defense a bit, as that's in for strike 1. And that on the upper outside corner, 1-1 count. And that one outside, 2-1 count now.
Really got to slow things down here for the Clovers.
I think the pace is the number 1 enemy right now. Clovers tend to take things a little bit fast when they start to get just a bit flustered. And see, just right there, Whit Branham takes a deep breath, collects himself for just a little bit longer, dots up the strike zone. 2-2 now.
The adrenaline can start pumping and cause you to go so fast that you just lose any amount of control that you have.
That one hit just foul down the third base line. Everyone going back to where they started. It was certainly close from our angle, definitely a little easier to tell that was going to stay foul the whole way down. So keep it at a 2-2 count here for Jacob Trevette. Trevette, who has reached bases all 3 times so far, all in 3 different ways: a hit by pitch, a walk, and a single. Huge swing and a miss there. Whit Branham picks up yet another strikeout. He's got 4 on the day so far, and that's now 2 outs for the Clovers. Just how good has Whit Branham been today?
Very good, and that's exactly what you need to get back
Third baseman, number
on
17,
track
Paul
to
Clayton.
end this half of the inning. In a 1-run game, can't let anything by you.
That one just outside the zone, 1-0 count now. That one foul tipped. 1-1 count now. Bowen does his best to frame it up. 2-1 count, though. Whit Branham never finds himself too far outside of the strike zone, always by a matter of inches. And that one hit into play. Whit Branham fumbling with it. He delivers it off to first. He's got out number 3. So Clovers still up 1. We're going to the bottom of the 7th. But first, you guys voted on it. And there is a performance coming up now.
Oh, boy.
Just waiting for the music to start.
Y'all are in for a treat.
Gotta get the throat ready here.
To the bottom of the 7th, score remains the Clovers 4, the Luckies 3.
Figuring it's gonna come up here pretty soon. Unless this is a ploy to keep us from singing on broadcast. They won't be able to stop us, though. We will sing it nonetheless.
Wait, what?
Well, we're going to wait to see if the music
You want to
plays.
sing it a cappella?
Well, if the music doesn't play, we still got to perform. The people voted on this.
We can promise to get it to you next time if there's no music.
Oh, here we go. All right.
Take
me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out of the old ball game.
You're welcome, Clovers Nation.
I think that was pretty tolerable
It was
overall.
pretty tolerable.
I think that was all right. All right. So Luke Bowen will be leading things off here. It's going to be nonstop action. We're not taking a break here between the top and the bottom of the 7th.
Your catcher, double twos, bringing the force.
Looks like it is still Colin Eaton on the mound for the Luckies, although I have to admit I was more focused on staying in tune than looking at the mound.
Oh, it's still him. He's got
Still
that.
Colin Eaton.
He's got that blue sleeve.
Very determining factor there. So Luke Bowen now starting things off. That'll be in for strike 1. This pitcher's duel has been nasty starting around the 3rd inning. Strikeouts dotting up both score sheets so far.
It's a batter's graveyard out there.
Another swing and a miss there. And it's certainly shaped up to be one of the most intense exhibitions I think I've ever seen. Still a league game. Both of these teams on a bit of a streak right now. Both of them want to keep that streak going, whether or not that counts for league play.
This game has been so tight. I wish it did count as a league game. 2 very quality teams.
2 very competitive teams.
2 very competitive teams going at it.
And a big swing and a miss there. Luke Bowen strikes out. It's going to be Jack Stark now up next. Colin Eaton, who has dotted up his 5th strikeout of the night so far. He'll make contact on that first one. It's not any farther past the infield. The shortstop bobbles it, unable to make the grab. Another error on the shortstop there for the Luckies, and Jack Stark's going to reach first. Gotta say, I'm a little speechless on that.
That's
the top of the order now.
bizarre.
Mr. Hitter number 1, Derek Moffett.
Big swing and a miss there by Moffitt. 0-1 count here. Jack Stark on first. Two count now for Garrett Moffitt. Colin Eaton letting that runner reaching get to him. Now one's outside. 1-2 count. The at-bat remains alive. Now one hit back towards the fence. Keep it a 1-2 count.
These back-to-back games looks very similar in how we saw some early scoring and then it's died down. I think it'll pick back up just like it did last night.
Well, if there's anything we've learned from these old North State League teams, when they start to get into crunch time, they are so good at responding to what needs to happen. Ends up in a lot of exciting games when they're already pretty tight.
The Skippers last night were one good hit away from tying the game in the top of the ninth.
Just crazy to think about when you look at the final score. That one outside, evens it up. 2-2 count now. That was such a big win for the Clovers, too, because not only are they racing to get that last playoff spot, a big part of that is not letting a dark horse like the Skippers come in and snatch it at the very end.
Yes, that was a good game to get some distance in between you being the Clovers and the Skippers.
And a big swing and a miss there by Garrett Moffitt. Another strikeout. That's 2 strikeouts this inning alone for Colin Eaton. He
There's a meeting now.
has been on fire. And is his night done here after 2 straight strikeouts?
That seems a little odd.
Could be on a pitch limit. Just a meeting right now.
I wasn't even thinking about that, John. You could be right. Pitch limit. He's probably asking him how he feels pitching longer.
Well, and if you're the Luckies here, if you've done your homework on the Clovers, you know that the second a pitcher gets tired, they can pounce on that and really put a hurting on the score. And I think the manager just wants to make sure that he is feeling good, not feeling too tired yet.
Everything from that body language was a raised hand, nothing authoritative from the manager. I really think it was how do you feel about staying out here longer conversation.
And Eaton's still out there. He's been out there for a solid half of the game so far. Eaton's only 2 batters away from matching the amount of batters the starting pitcher faced. Jonathan Senzeza went off against 15 batters. With that hit by Davey Morgan, who improves on the Clovers 2-out offense here, he's now faced 14 batters. Actually, that makes it 15. So with Mike Snyder here, Eaton has faced the most batters out of anybody so far. And DMX is the rain ringing through East Clayton Community Park as Mike Snyder steps up. That one fouled back. 0-1 count early for Snyder. With runners on first and second, Clovers definitely have a chance to put a bit of a dagger here in the game. Huge swing and miss there. 0-2 now for Mike Snyder.
Had to swing at that one, though. That was going to be a strike either way.
I think so, too. And if you make contact on a pitch like that, you could be kissing that thing goodbye. And he'll pop that one straight up. Pitcher is underneath it. They'll make the grab, and that will wrap up the bottom of the seventh inning. So just 2 more innings to go. Clovers lead by 1. It's crunch time now for the Luckies. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton, Clovers Baseball. So the Clovers turn to their 5th pitcher of the game in Tanner Hundley. Hundley, who has had some pretty good showings here in this homestand, even for the Clovers, has been a bit of a closer overall, and now will work at least this top of the 8th inning in what could be a slightly stressful finish here at East Clayton Community Park. And that one hit out towards Davey Morgan. Morgan fumbles with it. Oh, and with a rare slide at first, the Luckies still receive their first out of the inning. It's rare to see Davey Morgan fumble the ball like that, but he recovered well, got it off in time. Jackson Dunlap stayed cool, got the grab.
Well, great effort by Powell. He did everything he could to try and get safe at first.
Intriguing to see the slide at first. You really don't see that often. And that first one just a bit in the basement, 1-0 count. So a quick out one there for the Clovers certainly builds some confidence for this defense. And that one Chopped over to JoJo Allen. Allen's got it. He throws over to Jackson
JoJo
Dunlap.
Allen.
Good for out number 2. So 2 up, 2
At third
down
base.
here for the Luckies. Clover's defense still
Number
rolling.
2.
Certainly. 2 very quick outs.
They've kept their cool on both of
Hitting
them
now
in
for the
big
Luckies
moments.
from Roanoke, Virginia. Patrick Henry Community College. Number 4, Luke Roberts.
So Luke Roberts comes in for Justin Steeps. Steeps, who had 3 strikeouts on the day. Manager looking for a bit different of an option here at the bottom of the order, especially with 2 outs on the board. It's really do or die time for the Luckies. And he'll make very slight contact with that one. Will Orr's got it. Oh, and a jump, a bit of a short hop there by Jackson Dunlap. He wraps up this inning, a 1-2-3 inning when the Clovers need it. They will get one more chance here to pad their lead.
Top of the
What a
8th.
great play by Jackson Dunlap. Saved an error
Going left home.
and kept the
At the
Luckies
bottom
from
of the 8th,
getting
score
any
remaining
life
Clovers 4,
in that
Luckies
inning.
3.
So Jackson Dunlap, excellent play to wrap up this top of the 8th. We head to the bottom of the 8th now. Clovers up to bat. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers baseball. Kolzak now steps up to the plate. Clovers have another chance here to pad the lead. They lead by 4-3 here in the bottom of the 8th. Luckies have one more chance to tie up the game, but I'm sure if you are the Clovers, you really want to put up at least another run just to add that little bit of security.
Of course, because as I said earlier, the Skippers scored when we got to the top of the 9th because they realized it was crunch time. So if the Clovers in the bottom of the 9th hadn't got that extra run, it would have been extra innings, or they would have needed a walk-off hit. Oh, another error.
And another error out there. Can't tell if that was the center fielder or not. Kolzak, though, reaches second on that error. Absolutely huge.
Sorry, John, I'm speaking a little too long. I'm interrupting the play.
Oh, you are all good. You're providing good insight there. Kolzak reaches second. Backs up everything you said. Clovers know it's crunch time. They might need another run to stay afloat. So now Jackson Dunlap, the hero of the last inning.
Oh, Kolzak totally takes off. Doesn't even need to slide into third.
My goodness, what a play by Kolzak. So an 0-1 count here for Jackson Dunlap. He has got a runner at third, though.
You know that's our grandson. Does he know that's our grandson?
And they'll hit that
Come on, Brown.
right towards the first baseman. Jackson Dunlap tagged out over there at first. So runner still on third. Understandable, he did not want to race home there. Still 2 more outs of opportunity to get Cole tagged.
Sack fly is still available to you here in the Clovers.
It absolutely is. Even a sack ground out, if you hit it a little more towards first base, don't leave home as the viable option to get that runner out. JoJo Allen hits that one foul, drifting out of play. No play to be made. 0-1 count here. 1 out on the board.
Going to need a little more distance. If you put that one in field of play, that would have been just a pop out and wouldn't have been able to advance from a tag up.
So certainly good for the Clovers that got out there. JoJo Allen sends another ball right back towards our color analyst. So no 2 count for JoJo Allen. Defense 2 for 2 on saving Will Dobson.
MVP of the game.
MVP of the game for sure. And JoJo Allen.
Oh,
hits
base
that
hit.
one. It's going to get past the second baseman. JoJo Allen with an RBI single.
That is so huge, John.
That is absolutely massive. Gets the momentum rolling too. You still got to run on first, only 1 out. The Clovers offense may not be tapped out just yet. Credit to Cole Zach also for getting himself from second to third on one of the best leads we've seen today, maybe even this weekend. And JoJo Allen's going to take off.
Oh,
and he's
error.
going to reach. They tried to get him trapped. The throw to first base. First baseman wasn't even looking for it. Tapped the side of his glove. Far off to the side. JoJo Allen now in scoring position here. I think if the Clovers are able to close this thing out, the Luckies will know what caused them the loss today. And that was just the errors in the infield right now. The errors have given the Clovers too many opportunities, and the Clovers have been so good at taking advantage of every single one of them. And there's another base hit. JoJo Allen thought about racing home, stays over at third. 2 hits in a row now. Will Orr reaches first. Runners on the corners for Zach Lyon.
Runners on the corner for your left field. Lucky number 7, Zach Lyon.
That one fouled back. 0-1 count early here for Zach Lyon. Runner takes off. That throw is not in time. It's going to get away. JoJo Allen now racing back home. Clovers put up 2 runs. Now have Will Orr over at third. Another run scores. Make it a 6-3 game here at East Clayton. It was a strike there for Zach Lyon. That one down low, 1-2 count. Still only 1 out on the board. Another runner on third. Clovers have the chance to make this a 4-run game going to the 9th.
And what a time to bust out the offense.
That one fouled back, made contact with the umpire. He seems to be doing all right, thank goodness. And the catcher's going to go over there, have a meeting with the pitcher, probably just to get him to settle down a bit. count stays at 1-2 off of that foul ball. And now we're set to resume. Still a 1-2 count here. That one's down low. Catcher makes a good block, saves another run. 2-2 count for Zach Lyon.
Good awareness by Lyon to make sure that Ward didn't try and come home on that one. He put up his hand almost immediately because he saw that Amaro was going to cover that one up.
And a looking strike 3 there by Zach Lyon. That puts 2 outs on the inning. Runner still over at third. Clovers have another chance to bring him home. And now it's the catcher, Luke Bowen.
He's your catcher. Double team, Luke Bowen.
So Will Orr over at third now. And Luke Bowen pops that one up. It's going out of play. A quick 0-1 strike here for Bowen. And that one just a bit low, evens it up at 1-1 here for Bowen. And that one hit all the way out there into center field. It'll end the inning, not before the Clovers put up 2 more runs. We said the Clovers needed to pad that lead, and now they did. Now all they have to do is rely on that defense and their pitcher. We'll tell you who is up next when we come back. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Clayton Clovers Baseball. Tanner Hundley back on the mound in the closing position here.
Leading off, top of the order.
Since he came in with only a 1-run lead, if he finishes this game, he will get the save.
Could be a big opportunity to add to his belt here, Tanner Hundley. And now the Luckies down to their last 3 outs of the game. And we start off with a huge swing and a miss for strike 1. That one fouled back. A quick 0-2 count here to start this top of the ninth. That one up high in the corner. 1-2 count now. And that one hit towards the first baseman. Jackson Dunlap with a huge dive there. Was just unable to make the grab. So a lead-off single now for the Luckies when they needed it most.
Leadoff single for Fleming brings up the catcher.
So Gavin Fleming picks up that leadoff single now. Christian Amora. Still no outs yet on the board, but a 3-run game. Looks like there are some arms doing some slight warm-ups in the Clovers bullpen just in case. I think the Clovers want to close this thing out now.
Certainly, since it's an exhibition, you don't want to go through too many arms because you want to keep them fresh for when.
Oh, and they catch Fleming out at first. Jackson Dunlap with an incredible play there. Some protests now.
He does not like that. I'm going to talk to the manager of the Luckies to explain what he saw. In real time, it did look like Jackson Dunlap got him.
It did look like that from our angle. Dunlap had an excellent play there. Looks like they'll come to discuss.
Oh, gives a warning to someone in the dugout.
We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We gotta keep our composure. We've got too far. There's too much to lose. Keep our composure.
As I was saying, though, you don't want to go through too many arms for when you get to actual league games, since you're in the hunt for a playoff spot and the race is so tight.
Definitely is. Even winning these exhibitions
Now that's first base.
are absolutely crucial to keep momentum going. So Jackson Dunlap does get Fleming out at 1, eliminates that base runner, puts the first out on the board. A massive change in how this inning started. It's almost as if Dunlap, who was unable to make the play initially, was ready for a comeback already. And I mean, Jackson Dunlap's work ethic throughout this entire season has just been a big part of this Clovers defense. We've primarily seen him at first, more recently out in right field. All through that time, he has just been stellar.
And he's led by example. Everyone really took to heart after those games where we had some just uncharacteristic errors and the entire coaching staff was preaching getting ahead of everything. That's exactly what the Clovers have done.
And a huge strikeout there by Tanner Hundley puts up out number 2. Luckies down to now their final out.
2 outs in the inning. Got the right fielder now, number 24.
So that's Tanner Hundley's first strikeout, if I'm not mistaken.
He'd be a Heisman.
Correct. That makes it 9 total for all the pitchers today that we've seen from the Clovers.
A stunning performance on the defensive side of things. And there's another strike.
It's a .923 whip for the entire crew.
I mean, that is just insane.
That's pretty good.
That is insane. So now an 0-2 count. Tanner Hundley looking to close out the ball game and get the Clovers up to a 3-win streak. Oh, and there it is. Wow. Tanner Hundley, ice in his veins, calls the ball game. Clovers win this 6-3.
The batter couldn't even believe it. He was agape at that one.
My goodness. So the Clovers, massive 6-3 exhibition win. I mean, what stood out to you here, Will? In my eyes, it was the batters came alive when they needed to, and the pitching stayed consistent all through the game.
Absolutely. You hit the nail right on the head, John. Pitching lights out, only 3 runs through the entire game, not giving up that many hits. Hitting, like you said, got hot when it needed to near the end, giving the Luckies almost no chance to come back and really shutting them out. So overall, a really good team win. Gets the Clovers to 3 wins straight. And we're in for an exciting playoff race.
I think so. I mean, these Clovers have been locked in. There has been a clear difference in this team ever since the All-Star break. So Clovers not back at home for another 2 days. They do go on the road, however, on the 13th, a massive away game at the Kinston Wingmen. That game has massive playoff implications. Then they'll follow it up 3 straight games at home, the 14th, 15th, and 16th. The first 2 of those league games, another one against the Kinston Wingmen. So a lot to look forward to here for the Clovers. I want to thank you for joining us here on this 3-game homestand. We'll see you again on July 14th. This is John Loomis and Will Dobson saying good night.